6 needed, and that could be the winning hit. It is. It's 6 for Lewis Gregory, and Somerset have won by 6 wickets. Tremendous win for Somerset, chasing down 194 to win, with Will Smead leading the way.
Hello there, this is Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, the Somerset Cricket Podcast. My name's Ian Shepherd. Joining me this sunny evening, I've got, who should we go to first? Let's go to President of the club, Peter Wanless. Peter, 4 days, 2 very good days and then a couple of frustrating days against Sussex. How did you find that? Enjoyable?
I enjoyed it. Was there pretty much throughout. One of the benefits of living just up the road, I popped back to warm up a couple of times for a couple of afternoons, but didn't miss any of the cricket. It was a commanding performance in every respect. Just couldn't quite get over the line. So I think, the team did themselves a lot of credit with the bat, with the ball, and in the field, and just couldn't get the result. And as Paul Farbrace, the Sussex coach, said in his end of match interview, they really got away with one there because we flipping murdered them.
That was I was literally looking around YouTube for that very clip to stick up on Twitter, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so I don't know if it was just for the written press or whatever. But somebody else was there. Is a man who's seen more super overs than you, is now the proud owner of last year's Metro Bank One Day Cup shirt, which he got in the sale in Somerset County Ports on Sunday. Dan, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it was a noticeable moment because I have a Somerset polo shirt, but somehow, despite supporting the club for 17 years, I've never actually owned a matched shirt. So, yeah, it's a big moment for me. But I am a cheapskate, so I got one in the sale rather than got the current shirt.
Well, I would give you one of mine, but we are slightly different sizes, so that probably wouldn't work. And rounding off our quartet tonight is Head of Digital Marketing and anything else that he's doing at the Cooper Associates County Ground, and a man who is going to give us an update on the floodlight situation, Ben Warren. Ben, how's it going?
Well, they're not on at the moment, if that's what you mean. But no, how are we going, Shep? Yeah, I think we're... well, they obviously had a few issues, but I think there's an engineer booked for tomorrow to hopefully sort out anything. There was a lot of contact remotely over the last few days with the floodlight companies. Yeah, hopefully all sorted, because we've got a little bit of a big game going up on Friday.
We do. Repeat of last year's Vitality Blast final, which I'm sure we'll get to in due course. But Block 1 of County Championship games is now done and dusted. Played 6. 1-2. 1-2? 1-2. Lost
2.
2. 1-2. I was desperately thinking about, oh dear, I should prepare for these things and write them down, but I would have bet it was a busy day today. Yeah, 2-2-2. Is that a fair reflection? I'll start off on this. I think the cricket that we played in the last 3 games, to have not won either of those or any of those 3 games, Yorkshire we were in a dominant position, Glan we were in a dominant position, and we played a lot better. And if it wasn't for the weather, we would have beaten Sussex quite comprehensively by an innings and plenty. Do you think that's going to sit in the back of the minds of the players or not? Because we are heading into a different format now for a few weeks. It is now, the 12th of June is when we step back into the Whites to take on Notts up at Trent Bridge. That'll be a big game. I guess from my point of view, the fact that the County Championship is so tightly contested at the moment, there are, if I can find the table, 20 points, just 20 points between first and 8th. That's incredible, and it really is. Anybody can beat anybody this year, I think.
Yeah, I think that start by answering. No, I don't think that does reflect how well they played. It's really fine margins, isn't it? And a bit of luck, and I think as well. County Championship cricket is. There are so many external factors and variables to it. That doesn't necessarily not mean that the best team won't win it. But no, I think the cricket they've played so far in 6 games, I think they were so close to being sitting top of the table and looking down on people. You know, a little bit here, a little bit there. To paraphrase Jason in his post-match interview yesterday, sort of shoulda, woulda, coulda, and there's an element of that. But no, I think they play some fantastic cricket on the whole, and I think that they won't. I think they'll be buoyed by what they've produced in these 6 games. I don't think they'll, you know, the Worcester game last season knocked them back a bit. I don't think that there'll be a repeat of that. I think they'll be really pleased with what they've put down on the table in terms of performances, and they were not a million miles away from going, back to back wins and putting a real marker down on the county championship table. It hasn't quite happened, but the table's still very open, and really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, no one's really put down a marker, have they? I mean, not to the top, but they're kind of top by virtue of not being terrible and being sort of very consistent, not spectacular, which is pretty much how they won it last year, to be honest. Surrey got beat by Yorkshire last week, or this week, or just gone, who were absolutely terrible at the start of the season. I mean, Dan, if we want it, it's there for the taking.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's so frustrating, the fact that we could be like well clear at the top of the table if we got over the line against Yorkshire and Glamorgan, if we hadn't had those 2 mad sessions. But yeah, the players will they'll have learned from what happened in those games. But as Ben said, they can overall be really positive about the cricket they've played so far, and hopefully be pretty buoyant going into the next block of county championship fixtures. I think it was reassuring, I think, against Sussex to have a game where we completely dominated from the start. And while it was going not to get the win, I think the players can be really satisfied and probably a little bit relieved after the previous 2 performances to have put in a performance like that across the 4 days where we completely dominated. So yeah, it's a shame in a way that the Blast comes now. They probably like another championship game to try and get a win on the board. But yeah, overall we can be really happy with how we played so far. And yeah, it's so tight. We're 12 points off. We're 6th, which doesn't feel very like a fair reflection of where we are. But we're 12 points off the top. It's so tight up there. So it's all to play for. And let's face it, if we're going to win the county championship, it's not going to be easy, is it? Like, our first ever county championship title will not come from us having an incredible lead after 6 games and then just cruising to the title in the second half of the season. It will come in a tense nail biter in the last match. So,
if they play like they did this 6, the next 6, they'll be in with a shot.
Yeah, without a doubt. Peter, I presume you've had Jason Kerr and Andy Hurry and Lewis Gregory in the presidential office for their their appraisal after this first block of championship games. Did they get the presidential seal of approval?
Yeah, well, we did actually. Last night there was a lovely event which Ben was at as well to test out the new Joel's bar, which is going to be open for the T20 on Friday, tucked behind the Somerset stand. And so did get a chance to have a chat with Jason and Sarge about all of this. And yeah, I would say they probably feel exactly like we feel, although more disappointed, probably, because of the high standard of so much of our cricket, let down by a couple of sessions where it didn't go to plan, to say the least, and too many drop catches. But apart from that, we wondered, didn't we, between us at the start of the season, if we had a bowling unit that could take 20 wickets. And they've been bowling for one another for long periods of time with great success, apart from being unable to persuade the umpire to give a couple of LBWs at Glamorgan. And we've had probably more centuries at this after 6 games. I haven't looked this up than we've had for some seasons past. So there's a there's a lot to be positive about, but a kind of lingering frustration that we could be, 20 points clear.
We could be. I'm literally trying to find the adverts, the averages. You would not think it'd be this difficult to find the batting averages just for Somerset for this season, but
Dan, you had a tweet about how many centuries there'd been for and against us, which I think was start.
Yeah, we've scored 8, and the opposition have scored 1. Daniel Hughes' century was the only one that's been scored against us this year, which is pretty remarkable. And it's, I think, 4 in total. We scored 6. Yeah, in 2024 we scored 8 centuries in total across the entire season. This year we scored 8 centuries already, which just shows what an improvement it's been. Obviously, we're still prone to a collapse as we have seen, but we've got guys who are maturing. We've got Josh Thomas who's making an opening position his own. We've got Tom Abel who's in the form of his life. So, James Ruse having a good season as well. All those things combined, then the batting lineup is largely functioning.
You could argue that Lammers and James Ruse should have got centuries in the first innings and were out to rather kind of expansive shots at a time when they were well settled. Gave Craigo a chance, but nevertheless.
Why can I not find the bloody averages for the county championship just filtered down to Somerset? Why is it this difficult? I'm trying to find it. I literally can't find it on Crick Info.
It's in the stats page for the county championship. If you scroll down, it has individual stats.
Right, I'm going here. Stats home. This is thrilling listening. Stats home. Every tournament you could want.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there. I would Google County Championship 2026 stats, Crick Info, and then go from there.
This is thrilling, dear listener. We had a debutant as well. There was a new line on the bottom of the T-shirt reading Josh Thomas and Jordan Herman. I was quite impressed with the lad. I thought he shaped up really well. Only had the 1 innings and got a bit of a shocker. Bowled an over of quite generous off spin to I found it now. To sort of let Jack Leach and Archie Vaughan change ends. How do we think Jordan Herman works? He's here for the 2 games now, isn't he? In between playing for South Korea A against the Lions. Good signing. And would you get him back in the autumn?
I think he looked pretty good, actually. I agree. Yeah, I think he did get a bit of a rough decision. I don't think it was as bad a decision as people were making out. I think most people will get the benefit of the doubt there, but he was very far back and he is quite small. So I think it wasn't as bad a decision, I think, as people were making out. But no, it was a promising start. He certainly it's not, as we all know, it's really not easy opening the batting. He will get low scores. That's just the nature of opening in red ball cricket in England. But I think he shaped up pretty well, and there's every chance, if the opportunity comes available, that they could look to get him back.
Dan, can you send me the link for the averages, because I can't bloody find them by. I've got our overall averages, which are probably going to be completely wrong.
Save this as a favourite. Yes, coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Story of the match then. Somerset won the toss. Batted first, and 526 for 8 declared. Our highest score of the season by some margin. You'll never guess who got 100 again. Only Tom Abel. Craig Overton as well, his second of the season. After waiting, 10 years pretty much to get his first? Or between his first and his second? Pretty decent going. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. There we go. All done. Right. So Abel finishing 100 and 100. That 119 is high score. He's third 100, 350s. Just a tick under 700 runs for this first batch of 6 championship games. I mean, that's pretty much form that he should be looking to be selected for England for, but we all know he won't be. And it just seems to have totally clicked for him this year. We talked about this previously, but it feels like it constantly deserves our attention, just how well he's batting at the moment. Do we have anything to add to the plaudits we've given Tom for his knock?
I mean,
particularly the knock against Hampshire. He's just looking completely unflustered. It's incredible.
Doesn't look like getting out at the moment, and that's the biggest compliment you could give him. It's just a really, he looks so assured, calm. He looks so much like he's got so much time. No bowler looks like he's hurried him. Plays the ball lovely and late, doesn't he? So I think long may it continue. It's obviously again for Tom switching formats. You probably would have liked to have had a couple more county championship games under his belt, but you run out of words, don't you, for how good a season this has been? Because every time we come on and it's a fantastic knock again, and but he really is in the form of his life. That's that phrase has never been truer than what you can describe Tom Abel as at the moment.
I mean, he's had little purple patches before, and he's played well before, but I don't remember him ever scoring runs this consistently for this period of time. Because let's not forget, he finished off 2025 in pretty good nick as well. Just absolutely incredible. I mean, the numbers really do bear out. Craig Overton as well is averaging a tick over 50 with 200s. I think some of the work he's done in I think Gibbo, for some reason Gibbo's interview didn't go out on the second evening, but he sort of spoke to Tom and Craig said he was sort of trying to stand a bit taller, not fall over, because obviously being the height he is, he's going to be quite top heavy, and just try and sort of stay a bit more leg side of the ball, and that seems to be playing playing dividends, not
paying dividends.
Paying dividends, that's it. It's been a long day, and I've only literally just haven't done any notes or anything. I'm in about 20 different headspaces at the minute, so do bear with me. It's been paying dividends for Craig. Again, you said Abe's doesn't look like getting out. I think Craig is looking just as assured and comfortable at the crease. Adding to that fantastic nick of James Rue, the fact that we always seem to get runs from Josh Thomas at the top of the order now. He's been an absolute revelation coming in. Has taken to that like a duck to water, and all of a sudden, whereas a couple of years ago you're looking at maybe having quite a lot of ifs, buts and maybes in that 1 to 11, all of a sudden now you're looking at 1, 2, 3. Lambie's got runners as well at 3. You got Rue at 4. You got Abel at 5. I think Archie probably at 6, but who else could you pick? Tom Banton, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, or Lewis Goldsworthy? Gregory at 7, Overton at 8, or whichever way round you want to do it. Jack Leach. I don't think we've seen the best of Jack this year yet. Jake Ball's been a revelation, so it all seems there.
Coming together.
It is. It's coming together for a real tilt at the championship.
And yet we're only one game away from being 32 for 6.
But we're sick. Why are we sick? Hurry out. We're sick. All this cricket we played, we're only bloody sick.
One thing I think it's worth noting is, as well as Somerset battered in the first innings, it was a little bit disappointing to see the Sussex, how poorly they. I think that was a team that had given so much over 5 games, probably emotionally as well as physically, and they just sort of ran into the end of a brick wall, really, it seemed, and their body language was not that great. Ollie Robinson was only bowled 13 overs, he bowled a very good opening spell and then not a lot else beyond then. So I think it was slightly disappointing that how Sussex their body language in the field, they were a team that deserved to lose. There's no question about that.
I mean, that was the general consensus everywhere, I think, from any, I think already a couple of players spoke to said that was how they felt their Sussex were out on the pitch, that they were sort of a little bit taken aback by kind of their sort of unwillingness to be there, if you like. I don't know. It's normally, when a side's 5'20" for 8 and your captain's a bowler, you generally want to see him coming in like Ben Stokes style, really a blood in the boots job, trying to get you a wicket and, trying to keep you guys in the game and in with a serious tilt at the championship. But as you said, only bowled 13 overs, a little bit strange. But whether he's got his eye on Lords in a couple of weeks' time, who knows?
They went very defensive very quickly as well, didn't they, in the field too? So as well as I agree, they didn't look like they wanted to be there, but also there were runs to be had from pretty early on, as opposed to really attacking in those early sessions to get some wickets. I mean, whoever wins the toss, you want to try and be 4 down at lunch. They didn't look like that's what they were really trying to do. They quite quickly sort of reverted to containment, really, which we were able to take advantage of.
Yeah, it was very sharp. I thought the pitch played pretty well, as in it was a good cricket wicket. There was enough in it on sort of day 4, which really was probably only day 3, start of day 3 with all the weather interruptions that we had. I think Nick Pepper and his team are just refining it and getting it, because I thought the Yorkshire pitch was a cracking cricket wicket. It was doing enough on the last day, but you could still score your runs if you played well. So credit to Nick and his team for that. So because the last thing we want is Worcester and Knox style pitches here at Taunton when we're trying to win the championship.
Big kudos to them. I believe the pitch was rated very good. It was in the official criteria. It was a very good. So big credit to Nick. And as I say, it wasn't long ago before we were really wondering how soil and things is it possible that Taunton is going to be bowler friendly for anyone on day 4. And I think we've had again another positive reaction to that we've Nick has worked incredibly hard and has managed to get pitches that give something for the bowler on day 4. Admittedly, one of those games went against us and we end up losing because the pitch.
It wasn't a minefield though. I've got not going to be beating down the door of his shed saying what you're doing. We're supposed to, we've been demanding bowler friendly pitches on day 4 and you give us one and we don't like it because we lost. It'd be very disingenuous if we started taking that attitude. But credit to Nick. And as I say, we've got one championship game against Warwickshire in the middle of the blast break, and then we're into ones at the end of August. So you think that is when Jack, Archie, Lewis Goldsworthy, Josh Thomas will start to come into their own, and then the pitches starting to turn towards the end of the year. Viva la Cider are bad. Anything more on Sussex then in this sort of first block of championship games?
We should just mention that spell from Lammonby, which really cracked the game open.
Yes.
Day 3.
On top of the averages, Lammonby. I believe he's top of the county championship 1 bowling average is 9.75.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite the thing. He sort of just wheeled away and just put it in the right area, because we were kind of screaming at Alfie to sort of be doing that. I think he was having one of those little spells where he was just trying a little bit too hard and trying to bowl the wicket-taking ball every ball rather than just sort of building pressure and waiting for the natural variation just to let one do its thing. But he just came on. And it's a great skill to have, is to be underrated as a bowler, I think. Is you come on, people take you a little bit for granted. All of a sudden, bang, bang, you pick up the 2 set batters, and you really open the door. And that was, as you say, Dan, that was kind of the point where we started to pivot from inevitable draw to possible victory.
Yeah, exactly. from that moment on, so from the start of from Lammer's first wicket onwards, we took 14 wickets in 79 overs for the rest of the game. And that's an incredible rate of wicket taking.
Don't keep your voice down, or the pitch inspectors will be coming down the motorway.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure they'll be listening to this. No offense to
What
us.
do you mean? They don't like listening to this where they're regularly abused? You mean they're probably listening to another podcast? I don't think ECB pitch inspectors get praised on any podcast.
Maybe they should just have their own podcast.
They should do, and they could explain all their weird and bizarre criteria to us.
I suppose,
Explain
and
why
the
they hate it.
the only other thing that irritates some supporters, and I'm relatively relaxed about it in the context of this game, but the extras. So Lewis Gregory continued to bowl no balls, but it kind of infected a few of the other bowlers as well. And in fact, Lammonby bowled 2 no balls in that first over, which was bizarre. And maybe it was part of a kind of cunning plan to take the wickets and so on. But we seem, sometimes we look a little bit kind of ragged in terms of the no balls and the byes that we're giving away, but it feels churlish to moan about it, as I say, in the context of this game. But it is quite striking that Sussex didn't bowl any no balls in that great long 526 innings. Maybe they should have done. Maybe they should have pushed the line a bit harder, and there's evidence that they weren't trying hard enough. But people do talk about it, and they sort of mutter about it, and Anthony still hasn't asked his question as to why Lewis bowls these no balls.
No,
which
he
I don't
did.
suppose
I
we get a
remember
straight
the answer.
answer to.
It was a good couple of years ago now, but it was kind of after one of those games where he'd taken a wicket off a no ball and tried about half a dozen others. And I think he just feels naturally comfortable pushing the front line.
Yeah,
So you kind of talk about generally in cricket, generally, sometimes you've got to be prepared to lose in order to win. And I think it feels what he gains from pushing the front line in terms of feeling comfortable in his action, this, that, and the other. I mean, it shouldn't make a difference, but it obviously
yeah.
does.
So there's a
yeah.
There's a very
So
interesting there's a very interesting interview which Simon Hughes has done with Sunny Baker on the
Yeah.
Analyst Cricket podcast, where Sunny tells an interesting version of him leaving Somerset, which is worth a listen. But he talks about getting nowhere near the front line and kind of making a conscious decision never to go anywhere near it, and so his rhythm makes the no ball an irrelevance. And I guess it's a sort of habit that you get into, and if he was that much closer to the batter, maybe the ball would arrive that much faster, wouldn't it? But his rhythm is to be somewhere different in the approach than Lewis, and each to their own, I suppose.
I think it's something as well that you develop these things when you're a kid, really. And if you kind of develop your action through your teens, if it's something you feel comfortable doing and you feel it benefits you more and you're better when you're pushing the line rather than having it in your head, oh God, where's my front foot going to land, and all of a sudden you're just holding a little bit back and every muscle's just a little bit tenser and you're not concentrating on where you want the ball to go, what you want it to do, or your grit. You're just focusing everything on don't bowl a no ball. I think there's a massive disadvantage to that. And I think, Lewis isn't, he's not a daft man. He will know that he does bowl the odd no ball, but probably feels that at this stage in his career, it's to his benefit, the team's benefit, to risk that because he bowls so much better when he's pushing that front line.
I'd rather he didn't bowl any on Friday.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing, that he doesn't seem to bowl many noticeable ones in T20s.
No.
That's a weird little paradox about that. I don't know. Maybe he's just sort of concentrating on different style and more sort of cutters and variation rather than really sort of striving in like he maybe would do in a red ball game.
Imagine if there's a situation like 2022 finals day when Nathan Ellis bowled a no ball at the end of the game. If Lewis Gregory's ever bowled in the last over for us in a final in a close situation, I don't know if I'll be celebrating immediately or not if we win. Just looking, Gregory bowled 4 no balls in last year's Blast. So doesn't seem many, because even though there's less overs in the Blast, he often in the championship he often seems to bowl no balls early in his spell. It's very rare he'll get through his first 2 or 3 overs without bowling a no ball. So it does seem like he does bowl fewer in the blast. He's less likely to do it.
The umpires are probably quite hot on him as well. Like,
Yeah, you got a reputation.
You're umpiring Lewis Gregory, you're going to be like staring at that crease line for it. Yeah, I think that for a blast game, obviously, I think the penalties are so severe that he's probably quite happy to rein it in a little bit, lose a yard of pace,
literally lose a game on it, couldn't you? Well, if you would like to ask Lewis about his no balls, you can do, because Lewis is coming down to South Devon Cricket Club on the 16th of June for a testimonial game against my club, South Devon. Before the game, there will be a pre-match lunch with Lewis and a couple of special guests, and we will also be doing a Q&A, so you can get more details of that on www.southdevonCC.co.uk. You'd like to I just slid that in there?
That was neat.
That should be a good game. You can't come, Peter, because you've got a bloody board meeting, haven't you?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I've asked Richard if he's able to try and tweak it, but unfortunately, just at the time. So, I mean, if the players know that all the big wigs are tied up in the boardroom, they'll be able to just have a extra couple of pints, maybe.
Yeah, it should be good for everyone.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great night. If you can make it, just general tickets are available. You don't have to come to any lunches or hospitality like that. southdevonCC.co.uk for all the information on that one. Right. So I think I'm broadly satisfied with the first block of Champion games, in the sense that we are still in the hunt. And we are still very much in the hunt, because I think if we are having a blip, we've probably already had it. Yorkshire, Glamorgan and the weather doing us over to stop us beating Sussex. If that's all our bad luck, that's great. We're going to Notts in a couple of weeks, where that could be potentially a draw if the pitches are anything like they have been up there. Ditto Edgbaston, really, that can be a road as well if Warwickshire feel like they haven't got the firepower to win a game. So yes, we shall look forward to those games in anticipation. But before that, we have got a small matter of defending our Vitality Blast trophy, starting with a repeat of last year's final. Hampshire men and women visiting the Cooper Associates County Ground on Friday night for a double-header to kick things off. Live on Sky, no live stream. Are we looking forward to this? I am immensely. A few selection issues to go through first, though. So, no TKC and no Goldsworthy. Obviously, two massive players, figuratively speaking, no offence to us, in the team last year. Golders came on, had a bit of a ropey start, took a few wickets up at Bristol and never looked back. Key player in that team. You made the great point after, I forget what game it was, Dan, but Golders in at 9 gives a bit more licence to the guys above. Even if he doesn't ever get in and ever score a run, his presence will probably score, a couple of hundred runs over the course of the blast, giving guys the confidence. James Rue is going to be away with the England team in a training camp at Loughborough. It says the week commencing the 24th of May, so any time next week. Ben, do you know when Rue Senior is going to be away from?
Would, as a shoot like you, that week commences 24th would mean that he would be available for the first two, but that's only my kind of interpretation. That's not that.
I think given that Rue is not going to play the test, that's what they've said, barring an injury or something. Rue should be available this weekend, I thought, for both games. It's the 25th, Monday the 25th. That's when the training camp starts. For the test. So 22nd and 24th, this weekend's games, James should be available, all being well.
I think so.
Training camps in Loughborough.
Yeah, so not far from Edgbaston.
You think you just go from Edgbaston on the Sunday and just go back to Loughborough? You think that would make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Then sense and travel logistics sometimes not matched up, but I would say he should be available.
He's in my team.
Well, no Riley Meredith, as we mentioned last week, he is on international duty. No, when do we lose Alfie as well for the Lions game? That's pretty
This
much now,
weekend.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so no Alfie either. I'll go in my team first. So you can shoot me down. Smeed and Banton, obviously at the top of the order. Then I'm going Lammonby at 3, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Abel at 4, Thomas Rue at 5. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Debbie. Thomas Rue. Lewis at 6. Daniel Sams at 7. I want to have a bit of a chat about the spinner that's going to go at 8. And then Craig, Josh Shaw, and Jake Ball.
So no James Rowe.
No, on the basis that I want to try and keep my side as consistent as possible throughout the blast, because I this is if I'm head coach. And I'm not bringing in somebody who's won a competition out of the crowd. This is Tom Lammonby, who's played the second best T20 innings for Somerset in the history of the game, and is now a much vastly improved bowler and one of the best fielders in the world, and likes batting up the top of the order rather than sort of down in the middle order. So James isn't going to be available. I want to try and keep my team as consistent as possible, or my batting unit anyway. I know we're going to have to rotate the bowlers, but I want to keep my batting unit as solid as possible through the whole competition, as much as is in my control as possible. So I'm going for Lammers at 3, and giving James a rest before he goes off to Loughborough. And then I am genuinely open to who fulfills the spinning slot, because we've got Jack, we've got Archie, and we got Josh Thomas. So Josh Thomas didn't bowl much in last year's Metrobank. Archie was sort of the number one spinner in that, along with Jack. I feel Jack's more of a 50-over spinner than a 20-over spinner, although he hasn't really ever let the side down. I'm potentially inclined to go for Archie because of the way that it's going to sound weird, but the way that he batted Essex, so he can get the long handle out the score quickly if needed. And I think he's a good enough bowler to do that job. So I'm going Vaughan at 8, weirdly, which is kind of the same thing that we did with Goldsworthy. He was a top order bat in the championship side, and then when we started playing him in the blast, it was kind of down in the tail.
I've got a little bit of information and some good news, I think, that I can share. That I believe I overheard that Lewis Goldsworthy may be in the squad to play the second team game tomorrow, which I think is against Gloucester, isn't it?
Well, I think it's changed to Bristol. He said Bath, Shep. I think it's actually changed to being at the CED Stadium.
I hope you're not going to get sacked for this, Ben. I hope this wasn't a private conversation that you kind of just over.
Well, if he's in the squad,
he had a glass up against the wall like that to Jason's office.
If it was a first team game, we'd have announced the squad by now. So I don't think there's any embargoes on the second 11 squad. So I mean that clearly that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be fine for Friday. He's probably you're going to be back into it, but that does. I think that's good news.
Definitely.
But there's still a lot of options out there, isn't there? Whether I'm assuming that you are actually going with a spinner and not playing both.
Well,
J. Rue, it could be another alternative.
I mean, James Rue does bowl some very decent left arm spin.
So I was going to go Banton and Speed to open, obviously. Then I thought I'd have Thomas Rue coming in at number 3.
Okay.
And then James Rue and Tom Abel in their usual places. And then Lammonby at 6. And then we've still got Sams, Gregory and Overton, 7, 8, 9. And then a spinner. Don't mind if it's Thomas, Vaughan or Leach. Leach is the more obvious batter at 10, but why not have, Josh, it seems extraordinary, but Josh Thomas or Vaughan at 10 and Ball at 11. So now that's slightly emotionally, I want Tom Lammonby in the team. If Goldsworthy's available, then I would probably pick Goldsworthy ahead of Lammers and feel really bad about it. But yeah, so that was my team, and I put Thomas Drew up at the top because I just think we've got so many batters that why not in those early overs have a real go at whacking it all over the place. Lammers can sometimes take a bit of time to get going. If he could develop in the way that Dixon and Abel used to play when we lost a few wickets, kind of knock it around, and then he's got the potential to be explosive, then perhaps he would be better off a little bit further down the order. So that was the logic for my team. It feels really stuffed with batting.
I think you can never have too much batting. Thomas did bat at 3 in that second 11 game at Worcester in the week where he outscored Tom Banton, or was pretty much up with current England international Tom Banton in terms of scoring and strike rates. I think they both finished about 90 not out off 45 balls in that area. So, if you've got 18-year-old Thomas through and he's benchmarked against a current England international, he's obviously a pretty decent player. And I agree, Peter. I think he could bat 3. He could pretty much bat anywhere, really.
Yeah.
It goes to show just how strong, even when missing, quite a few players that would potentially, they've still got selection headaches. It generally is going to be there'll be people that miss out on Friday that are genuinely going to be really disappointed, and that does, albeit that it's going to be a slightly, almost new era vibe, I think, about Somerset for at least the first block of the Blast. There's still a lot of choice and a lot of options depending on the conditions, and I think that's what you want in T20 cricket, isn't it? When we go to Edgbaston on Sunday, it's probably going to be hopefully it'll probably be a good pitch, but it might not be. Then you've got other options to take. You've got Jack Leach you can take. You've got other options that you can. So it's still, Somerset won't be completely short of choice, even though they've got injury.
Yeah. I think all the sides that we've named have got plenty of bowling options. There's nothing worse as a captain looking around the field going, who's going to bowl the next? I haven't got anybody I can trust to bowl the next over. With all the lineups we've had, I think we definitely got a lot of bases covered. Dan, did we get your team?
You didn't, but I don't really have a fixed 11. There's so many options. You guys
you have to have one, Dan. It's kind of the rules of cricket. You can't sort of. I know we've got subs, but you can't just chuck guys out and pull him in and that.
Thankfully, I'm not actually picking the real team. Yeah. So. You guys give me more ideas than what you've said as well. So, one quick point before I say my team. This is why we got rid of Sean Dixon. Frankly, we've got so many options, so many young guys coming through.
He was winning us too many games. It wasn't enough of a challenge. We thought, no, that's too good, Dawn. No, we wanted to lose against Bears and didn't want to go to another finals day. And we didn't want to win the Blast this year, and you fucked it up. So off you go.
It's because Sean Dixon is getting older and won't be around at the top for much longer. We've got, I know, I'm just saying, we've got James Rew, Thomas Rew, Lammers, Archie Vaughan, Josh Thomas, all these guys coming through. We just had to make room somehow, and he was the logical one to release, sadly. Because, even with the injuries we've got now, we've still got selection diamonds, which is mad, really. This is the team.
And you think you bring PKC back in as well, it's like, okay. You're almost back to square one, really, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. We won the second 11 T20, didn't we, in 2024, which also showcased our depth quite nicely. My teams, obviously Banton and Smead opening. I like the look of Lammonby at 3. I've then got Abel at 4, James Rew at 5, then Gregory, Sams, Josh Thomas, assuming Goldsworthy is unfit. But if Goldsworthy is fit, I would pick Goldsworthy. And then Overton, Shaw, and Jake Ball. That is 5 right-arm pace bowlers. And with Lammonby playing and with Josh Thomas playing, we might not need all those 5 paces. So you could get another batter in there, i.e. Thomas Rew, instead of Shaw or Ball, probably. But then we're relying on definitely having 4 overs between the spinner and Lammonby, which could be fine. But it does maybe put us under a bit of pressure if one bowler does go for a few runs. So that would be the slight risk. Thomas Rue, whatever happens, I think we'll obviously get chances in this competition, particularly if James Rue is actually away for a bit. But yeah, it does feel harsh leaving out Thomas Rue. I mean, I could have him in ahead of Lammonby, I guess, and potentially reshuffle the order, or have him at 3. But yeah, I'm looking. I want to see Lammonby get a run for us in T20 cricket. He's been out of the side largely for the last few years. He's had the odd game here and there, and he's done pretty well when he's opened. Because obviously, if Banton was still unfit, then Lammonby probably would have opened in this game, and then that means that Thomas Rue could have easily slotted in my team. But obviously, yeah, we've got to be unleashing Thomas Rue at some point. If you asked me on another day, I probably would have picked Thomas Rue in the team and left someone else out. It is difficult to select. There's also Migael Pretorius as well as an option, but yeah, I think we've all probably had the same thought. He's just played the three games back to back. He's probably tired. He's obviously coming off a long-term injury, but he'll get at least a game, I'm sure, to make sure he's eligible for final day. But with Riley being out of the first 6 games, Mig might actually play, a few more than just his token usual 1 group stage game. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get a go at some point.
I think the club need to make that an event. You've got the Beer and Cider Festival, you've got Taylor Swift, you've got the Olivia Rodrigo. You need to have Migael Pretorius' token game to make sure he's eligible for final day.
Yeah. It needs to be at Taunton as well. He's never played a whites ball match at Taunton. He's played 4 T20s for us and 1 50-over game for us, but all of those were away from home. So this year could be the year he finally plays a white ball game for us at Taunton.
So we'll have a ticker tape parade down St James's Street. Fireworks a lot, make a real evening of it. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Like you said, it feels like a bit of a new era. We've lost some good players that have really performed for us in T20 cricket over the years. Josh Davey, Ben Green and Sean Dixon, they're 3 guys. Well, Josh in his prime would definitely have walked into any T20 side. Ben Green and Sean Dixon will still do that, I think. So, it's going to be difficult. The thing is, when you lose players, you not only weaken yourself, but you strengthen the opposition as well. So it's going to be, a tough trip to Cardiff. We know Sean's motivated to put one past his own employers, aren't you, Sean? Thank you very much. Greener as well. We'll have to probably wait till the knockouts before we bump into Greener and Josh Davey again. But of course, Somerset old boy Sonny Baker will be in the 11. Along with James Vince, Liam Dawson, who's not retired from white ball cricket, unfortunately, but he has retired from first class cricket after being omitted from the England squad a couple of weeks back. Anything more on Friday night then, other than best of luck to the electricians as they try and make sure that we get full days playing?
Well, we also have we have the return of Wello, don't we? For the women's game.
Yes. Is she bringing a full camera crew with her this year, or just the little one that she takes around the dressing room, shoving in everyone's face?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tough game for Somerset women. Hampshire, a good side, aren't they? But yeah, and you check. I think to the point that Dan made the other day, the change of format probably be it's a good time to have the change of format. So yeah, hopefully Sophie Luff and the girls can really compete on Friday in front of the Sky cameras, because again, it's not something that they've had too much exposure to. There was only, I think, 1 game on Sky, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, last year across home and away, right. But it was and we won it. That was the Essex game, wasn't it? So yeah, really hope that they rise to the occasion. There's going to be a good crowd in. Hopefully we see a lot of people come and support the women as well on the day. I'm sure we will. And you can get a decent
time. Does the women's game start, Ben?
2:30.
2:30. There you go. So knock off at lunch on a Friday. Get yourself down in the Cooper Associates Ground nice and early. There are, of course, tickets still available in the brand new Rotec stand. Are they on the website yet, Ben?
There's
Are there
44. There's 44 left currently in the
44
Rotex
is
stand.
enough. 44 is plenty. So get yourself down there if you can. Are they on the website? Or are we on the ticky text thing?
Yeah,
Or do you have to ring
just
up?
on the Somerset website. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
give us a
brilliant.
people can call us, but yeah, I would imagine at some point over the next couple of days we'll be announcing that as a sold out game, which is now we've got the Rotex stand. It's going to be the biggest capacity we've had in blast cricket for a while. So yeah, Taunton's going to be absolutely rocking. Friday night, Sky repeat of the final, blast off. Yeah, it's got the ingredients of a really top one.
Less queuing with Joel's opening the old Eat the Bird.
Goals, yeah.
And significantly more beer and cider pumps in addition to Joel's underneath the Somerset stand as well. So if you're on that side of the ground, there'll be nothing like famous last words. There'll be nothing like the queues which people are used to on that side of the ground. And if you just want a nice family evening away from the alcohol, as we've said, there's extra seats on the other side of the ground as well. So hopefully something for everyone.
Of course, the club would encourage you to drink responsibly.
Oh, responsibly, yes, yes.
Absolutely. But if you do out the dick, the stewards will throw you out. So just behave yourselves. Not you three. I mean, like, just generally anybody listening to this, thinking about getting a bit rowdy. Yeah, Sophie Luff did tease on the live stream that she might be having a bit of a change in batting order position. So she'll be doing a bit of work with TKC. So if she's fancy to go at the top of the order or not, who knows? But exciting to see that.
Yeah,
TKC probably.
I thought for a while that Luff might suit opening in T20 and sort of being the anchor. She's not produced too many runs in T20 in the last couple of years. I think there have been times where she's actually batted too low and sort of in almost a finisher. She needs to either sort of open and anchor the innings or come in sort of immediately after the power play and sort of bat through the middle overs. And the team as a whole last year did struggle a bit to find the right tempo of batting. That's shown in the fact that we lost most of the games. So yeah, obviously they've been looking at ways to rectify that, and obviously having Annika Leewood in there as well, who's got plenty of T20 experience in Australia, experience in the Big Bash, should be useful as well. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be another learning year, I'd have thought, in this format. But T20 is unpredictable. It only takes a few players to have a good game to win sometimes. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
They talked right at the start of the season, Erin Oswell, when she came in, the new coach, saying, we're going to let's play a braver brand of cricket in T20, because there were quite a few times where they kind of sort of didn't know whether to stick or twist when they just need to go and put the pressure back on the opposition. I think from what the noise has been coming out, what she's been saying, what Sophie's been saying, that they are going to go out and put this into practice and really be prepared to lose, but try and play some really good, attractive, positive cricket and try and put themselves on the opposition, dominate. And I think that's what they kind of lacked the confidence to do last year. So fingers crossed that'll click for them in a couple of days' time. Anything else before we quickly pop on to listeners' questions? I've got a bit of an announcement. I am now officially the Devon representative for the members committee. So if you are a member in Devon and you've got anything to raise, you're raising up to the boards of the ground, or any aspect of your membership at Somerset, drop me a line. You can just drop me a thing on the Somerset podcast Twitter account or anything like that. I will pick that up. And something that myself and another couple of members of the members committee have noticed is the lack of Somersetification of the county room. So over the next sort of few months, we're going to try and get some stuff out of the museum and get it up in the county room to try and make that look more like Somerset County Cricket Club's members room, rather than just kind of the anonymous meeting room that you might see in any Regis shared business office space up and down the country. So we're going to be trying to do that, hopefully with the sort of help of the club and the museum over the next few months. So really Excited about that, and looking forward to getting that room looking really good. A couple of questions I don't think we've covered. One from Harry Hayden: would like to see us bowl Lammers a little bit more in the Championship. He's already shown what he can do. I think it's a great point, Harry. It cast my mind back to when we had Abe's on the pod a couple of years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago now, and we sort of asked him, well, how do you sort of decide when to bowl yourself? And he was kind of like, oh, I don't really know, because I'm looking around the field and I'm seeing like 4 seamers and Jack Leach who are all better bowlers than me, and I would imagine it's the same for Lewis Gregory, looking around and seeing sort of 2 or 3 bowlers who are kind of better, if you like, in scare quotes, bowlers and Lammers. So I think it's kind of having that gut feel about when the right time to bowl him is. Is someone hoovering in the commercial office, Ben?
That's just my laptop. It makes a rather.
I was going to say, I thought the cleaners were in, and you're kind of like the last one in. Sorry, it's all right. I can get other noise stuff. Will filter that out in a bit. But yeah, that's kind of, it's when you've got 6 bowlers, it takes real nous to know when to bowl your 6th bowler. I think
we saw how good Lammonby was in the One Day Cup last year as well, when he was a regular bowler in pretty much every game, and regularly came on. Did he open once or twice? But at least it was first change, second change regularly. Yeah, he's really improved his bowling in the last couple of years. He's obviously been. There was a period where he was injured and didn't really bowl, but since he's got over that, he has improved a lot. So if he gets a go in the Blast this year, then that also might be a chance for him to bowl a few useful overs.
Definitely. Thank you very much for your questions, Chris and Andy and everyone. I think we've answered them all in our prior discussions. Any other business then before we knock this on the head? And Ben can go home.
I think so.
Don't think so.
Good. Right. Best of luck to Sophie Luff and Lewis Gregory then, both taking on Hampshire in that doubleheader on Friday. If you haven't got a ticket, there's 44 tickets left. I can see Ben's probably looking on the thing now, seeing them all going down as we're like,
so refreshing.
Oh yeah, this is
live updates. 41.
Oh. 41.
Sold 3 tickets.
3 people time travelled, heard me after I put this out, and then jumped back and bought their tickets. Fantastic. We've also got big news as well. A big comedy star is coming to the Cooper Associates County Ground in what did the club say it was?
September.
So we've got what's the exact wording that they use? Where is it? Let me have a look. A huge comedy announcement is coming.
Yeah.
Insert signing of this player here. Anyway. Or a major UK comedy act is coming to the Cooper Associates County Ground in September. That is not a very nice way to talk about Surrey, then. There we go. It took me 2 hours to work that joke out.
Well, we like to leave our social media posts open for people to have a bit of fun with. If people want to,
or should we do that? We'll quickly see if they're there. Oh, Nikki's got in ahead of me. She said Surrey. Brenda McCullum actually watching a Championship match, says Graham Downey. The Railway Walker says, is it Gloucester? Will says, is it Tom Banton bowling? Javan says, we've signed Zach Crawley, and they call him Sid, as said, new openers. So there we go. Somerset fans, you are the wittiest in the land. Right. Cheers, everyone. See you Friday night.
Cheers, guys.
See you.
Cheers.